Okay, next is, asa naman ta? Okay. Ay. How can training be effectively delivered worldwide? Especially nowadays that we are facing the pandemic. Now we cannot perform the face-to-face or the personal interaction. So how can we make sure that training our workforce at these times could be effective through online? Now, many of today's organizations conduct operation around the world. Even before the pandemic, we have this already online thingy. Now, we have connections from the outside region, connections from the outside of the country, outside of the planet. Joke ang planet. So, we have this what we call networks. No? So, na-exist na ni, gina-practice na ning online even before the pandemic. Now, consistent quality of products or service is critical now to the organizational survival in today's competitive markets, especially good today. No, that we have a lot of competitors. Now, price does not even matter sometimes. No, this is a mo matter ang price as long as she have the consistent quality. Now, providing training content online is an efficient way to distribute information. However, learning advanced skills or interpersonal skills may require an approach that incorporates classroom time and face-to-face interaction. No? Pwede rin ng kanang for distribution of information, pwede ra ang online. But if you are aiming no to develop this what we call advanced skills or interpersonal skills of your workforce, it may require you to perform classroom or face-to-face interaction. No? Now, the cost of bringing employees to one central training location could become a costly proposition as the firm geographically expands. An option for a widely dispersed firm could be to offer hands-on training on regional basis, such that face-to-face training takes place at various regional centers. Now, forget about the pandemic. So, let's assume na pwede ng face-to-face. So, what is going to happen for those organizations that are geographically expanding? Meaning to say, you have branches in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So, how are you going to train this workforce in a much less costly way? Now, one option is to um, offer hands-on training on regional basis. So, usa na sa mga um, proposed solutions in order to uh, in order for the training to be efficient and yet not so costly. Okay? Another is, how can trainees be motivated to learn? Lectures and workbooks that you may provide your workforce may have outstanding content, but it could be ineffective if they do not engage the trainees or motivate them to learn. So what's the purpose of giving the para good po na ninyo nga tagaan og tagaan og module bisag unsa og ingon nga kanang basahon lagi mo basa di ay awa og di ta moingon nga mag oral reset o di mo basa or di mo yun nga magklase di pud mo basa. So batasan na jud na no when you become a an ano someday na bawo ninyo kay bawo na kajud ko kinsay di mamasa dinhi og kinsay mamasa. So paingon na lamang kajud ko nga good luck Lord. Anyways, going back, no? So giving them lectures and workbooks, no, may have an outstanding content because that is also honing the comprehensive ability of your workforce. But of course, you also need to engage the trainees. Now, we're talking about training, ha? Meaning to say, naa na ta sa training. Naa na ba sa in one area? So, providing them training unsa na kanang modules would not be enough. The trainee should engage this trainee. Unsa tong giingon? The trainer should engage the trainees to motivate them to learn. Now, one motivating unsa na kanang way, no? Again, one of the way that will motivate these trainees is to make sure that what they are learning is for them and their jobs. Of course, this is really important because bisag ako, if I am being trained, ang gitchen, unless if I am interested, of course. But if I was being trained that is not part of my job, how can I become motivated? Especially if I don't like the training. I was just there for the sake of attendance. Mara po na ninyo. Di mo ganahan mo sud og klase. Or di mo ganahan mo sud og virtual class. Unsa na? I-click ra ang link pero nagsige tagtawag nasi kuan. Why maningog? But in your case, this learning is necessary for you. But I don't get the idea or the logic why you still are not motivated to learn. Murag, gitagaan og module, i-discussan pa, di wa gihapon, mura ra og kanalay, sila patid-patid rin gihapog lata. I hope dili na nga na injong kuan ha, kanang na attitude when you begin to work someday. Aroy, ginoo ko, malisan ko. Anyway, daghan si extra si ma'am. Extra yaw-yaw. Okay, so that's one thing. You have to make sure that what they are learning is for them and their job. Now, when employees are sent to training, they should be able to see how the content of the training is related to performance of their job. If this relevance link is not there, mag-expect jud ka nga di ka jud na ma-interest or di jud na ma-motivate ang employee because they cannot see the relevance link between the training and for them and the job that they are performing. So, mao na siya. Now, in addition to relevance, making training fun and active experience can be a positive, no, for a positive way of motivating, no, the trainees. Dili sad pud nang training, ayo lang sad mo kag trainer, no, kay mukha mo mga outside resource person yana. Boring po kasyong istorya, marag nag-monologue. There is no connection, no, to the audience. Now, dapat na agad yun that's why when we conduct training, na jud na plan. Plano kung sila nimo. Na kay program kang gina-follow. Kano sa dapat mo break, no? for the kanang participants to breathe for a while, kanus sa dapat kani nga exercises ihatag una or ihatag ba og katapusan. So naanay planado na siya. Na pwede mo kag training sa aas. Kamot may. Di na pwede. It should always be planned. Okay? So mao na siya. Okay. Now in this lesson, we will distinguish between training and development. And then we discuss more or the major challenges that managers face in trying to improve workers' performance through training. As I have said before, no, during sa pag-introduce na ani nga topic, training is also a way of unsa to improving your workers' performance. Okay, so mo na sa nga importante jud ang training. Although training is often used in conjunction with development, the terms are not synonymous. Training typically focuses on providing employees with specific skills or helping them correct deficiencies in their performance. Okay, for example, a new equipment may require workers to learn new ways of doing the job, or a worker may have a deficient understanding of a work process. Now, in both cases, no, training can be used to correct the skill deficit. Now, in contrast with development, which refers to as an effort to provide employees with the abilities that the organization will need in the future. Now, specifically, as you can see in this table, no, nga gi-summarize ang differences between the training and development. Training focuses solely on current job, while in development, the focus is on both the current job and the job that the employees will hold in the future. So, mo na difference in training and development. We say development just more on developing your workforce to become like a future manager someday, a future supervisor someday. So aside from training on new skills such as application of Windows 20 baron, or application on the new technology or the new software that your organization is using, no? So mo na gitawag og training, mo i-train no ang skill sa imong or ang how your employees may use this particular equipment, or how a particular employee has this lack of knowledge on this particular use of the equipment. Mo nang training nimo. Pag may kag develop po nimo ang usa ka worker, so it pertains now the future. Na the scope is individual employees, and then for development, work groups or organization, and then time frame, immediate, of course. Immediate, and the development is, of course, long term. Now, the goal is for fix current skill deficit, and then for development, prepare for future work demands. So that is the difference between the two. Now, keep in mind that one other distinction between training and development is that training can have a negative connotation. The result is that people might appreciate an opportunity for development but resent being, resent, no, being scheduled for training. Na ay mga nga nga instances, no? Kanabang your employees has this particular mindset nga kanang gusto ko mo develop as an employee, but they hate or they resent being scheduled for training. Damo yung nga nakapoy sisig adtog kuan, uy pero yan bitaw mo na siya. Usan na sa mga distinction pod between these two, mo na siya. Another thing also, no, um, when we talk about the negative connotation of training is that there are particular employees, no, that hates to kada bang mura bag ilang huna ba if they are chosen to be sent, no, to a particular training, they have this mindset that they have a skill deficit. Mura ba ilang huna nga, so I'm not enough di ay. Murag imong uyab, yung kag di ay ko enough. So murag ingana ilang huna-huna, no? That's why di sila ganahan nga schedule for training because they feel like they have murag ilang huna-huna is that instead of being proud nga sila ang mapili for training, they have this negative and embarrassing message, no? Nga, nay, I'm not enough or I'm not as good as these employees kay wa man lagi sila gisend sa training. So you should mo lagi na as I have said in our previous discussion pa, you need to understand your employees. Kay there are employees nga naay mga ingana nga connotation, naay mga ingana nga kanang mindset, especially the old days kadtong mga kuana kanang less competitive na bitaw nga mga employees nimo. Katong marabag mayo nagda naniguwang na kog tumarbaho dinhi as mauni dya. Nganong kinahanglan pa mo ko trainingon? Nga mao naman ni akong trabaho since the world began. They have this unsa man di ay kanang niabot kog 20 years din nga company, then I'm not enough. Suddenly you will say that I'm not enough because I need to be trained. So na mga ingana, so you should be ready. Well, in those cases, no, the culture of organizations then needs to change so that training can be viewed positively. So, if in your organization someday na kay makita nga mga ingan nga mindsets or kanang attitude, so you need to change the culture of the not we all know that change is a painful process and it takes a lot of time. So more bag na ano na sa imong mindset nga need pud na ni incorporate that training is not negative. So it won't be viewed negatively. Okay? So let's go to the challenges in training.